Hello, I'm Kelly and welcome to my Flosstube channel, Animal Instinct. It's Saturday the 2nd of November 2024 and I'm back with my end of month cross-stitching update. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you're well and I hope you're enjoying your stitching. Thank you to all of my existing subscribers and welcome if you're new. It feels like a hot summer's day here. Out of the blue we've got, I think it's 32 today. So the sun's shining, the cats are very sleepy and it feels like we're heading towards summer. It's actually a total fire ban here today as well, which yeah, we're definitely getting into that sort of territory. Where am I going to start? Oh, I hope if you watched my last little surprise kit parade, I hope you enjoyed that and thank you for all the comments. I was organising them and I thought I may as well share them, and I'm not going to start anything just yet, but I have plenty to choose from and it's been really interesting to see which ones my viewers have asked for. So we'll see. Probably won't happen till next year, I don't think. I've got plenty to keep me busy until the end of the year. So today I'm going to share all of the stitching I've done in October. And there's a kind of a mix of my spooky stitching and then just some other pieces as well. And I think what I'll do is a separate kind of recap of all the spooky stitching all in one video. If you've seen today's update and the last update before the kit parade, you've probably seen it all. So if you're not interested in seeing it all together, that is absolutely fine. But I think if I've still got momentum after this, I'll go ahead and film that because I've got them all out, so may as well. So let's jump into it. First of all, in October, since I last filmed, I worked on the Book of Shadows by Living on the Rainbow. I'm trying to do 2 pages, so it will be finished into a little book with 8 pages. And I'm trying to stitch 2 pages a month. And so for October, I stitched the vampire and the witch. So I've got just 2 to go in November. Just pan through. Can't actually see what I'm showing you, but yeah, there's 2 spaces to go. So that they'll get a start this weekend, I think. And then if I can finish those 2 in November, then I'll be ready to fully finish it in December, and I'm really looking forward to that. Then I was spinning a wheel to find out which piece I was going to work on. So if you are new, I've been working on a whole pile of spooky starts that I've had over the last 2 Octobers with Jo from Witchy Stitchers. And in September and October, I've just worked my way through all of them. It's been a lot of fun. I did get a little bit over it, I guess, towards the end. So it was great fun, but I'm glad I'm moving on to something else now. So the next one that came up was Halloween Crystal Ball. This is by the Tiny Modernist, and this is one of our original starts in October 2022. I'll have a photo in of where I was before, but I think I had done the outside of the crystal ball, or snow globe, or whatever it is, and I think most of the base as well. So when I picked it up, I decided to start in the middle of the globe and just sort of see how I go. And I really enjoyed working on it. So 10 days and 8,740 stitches later, this is where it's up to. So it's on 18 count aida. It's called Shale from Picture This Plus, and it's like a purpley grey. Coming a bit closer. That is all done in there. And then some books and the bench it's resting on. So the original pattern has I can't remember which side is which. I think it's a skull on this side and a pumpkin on this side, and there's these beautiful flowery vines coming up as well. I like those, but I'm not I'm now unconvinced about these two here. So I might think about doing something different. I was thinking possibly having a little vase or something with the vines coming out. If you've got any ideas, let me know. I probably won't work on this one for a little while now, but yeah. Really happy with how that came out. I don't know how I yeah, stuck with it for 10 days. That's quite a lot for me. I think it's if I was to stitch it properly, I think I'm 79% done. All right, then the next one I spun was a Gecko Rouge piece, Lorna Laine, and it is Black Cat. It's just a small one. I hadn't done much at all on this one. I started this one last year. And can't actually remember how much I'd done when I last showed you, but this is where it is now. If I can get it right, sorry. There we go. So it's on 25 count Lagana, 1/1 full cross. And I think I'd done like these stars, and maybe had I done that? I can't remember. I remember doing a bit more of the outline of the cat, and then I decided to work on it like I worked on the raven, which is a similar size and style, and I finished. And what I did with that one, I just picked like the top colour, stitched it in as much as I could, and then pick the next top colour. So I'm just working my way down, and I've still got a thread in it, which is not like me. I don't usually park very often. But yeah, love those colours. They're so pretty. So 2 days on that one and 1400 stitches. Then I spun A Touch of Magic by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This one was started last year. And I think last year I'd done like the top row of the piece. And I've done the second row, I guess, and a little bit more this time. So this is where it's up to now. I think it's looking really good. It's on 32 count Belfast linen in Blundstone by number 12 Stitch Co. And I'll bring it in. So the hat, Witch's Hat, Wicked Witch, Cast a Spell, the Magic Wand, and what is this? It kind of looks like a leaf, or maybe a firecracker. At one point I thought maybe it had broken off of this, but I don't think so. Does anyone know what that is? Anyway, I think it's looking really good. It's really fun to stitch. It stitches up pretty quickly. I only worked on it for 1 day and got 1350 stitches. So I think that must have been a Sunday, because that's my best stitchy day these days. The others are a bit hit and miss, especially after work, finding that I come home from work and I fall asleep in my stitchy chair before I even have dinner. So anyway, trying to work on that. But yeah, Sundays are my good stitching day. All right, and then the very last piece that, yeah, was a start from last October. Actually, it was a start from 2022, and it was actually the very first piece that sort of kicked off this whole spooky stitching for us. And it's Teresa Kogut's Silhowitches Quaker. And this is on a piece of beautiful 40 count linen from Seraphim Fabrics. It's called Bee's Knees. I just love the colour. Oh yeah, you can see it beautifully there. I'll just come in and show you what I did. I worked on this one for 2 days, 1200 stitches. Hang on. You'd think I would know how to show fabric by now. Struggling today. Okay. Oh dear, I can't even remember what I've done. I know I finished this. Pretty sure I did this and this. I think I stitched him. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm using Silks For You PR070 for the black and a DMC variegated green for the little bits of green through it. It's coming along really well. Alright, so then I went back to 2 pieces that I'd worked on in September and I wanted to put a bit more stitchy time into. The first one was my new start from the very start of this year, and it was Witchy Stitcher's Purr. I'm stitching it on 14 count navy aida. Oh, there's some cat hair to go with it. Yeah, look how good he looks. So I know I stitched a lot of black. I think I just did one extra day, about 650 stitches, and I'm pretty sure it was the black mostly. But his face is done. I've just got the back of his head to go now, plus plenty more. I think when I come back to it, I will work my way over to the frame, the brown frame that goes around, because I want to stitch it, but it's like a little bit boring. So if I don't stitch it before the end, you know, I might drag it out. But I love the reds and the shading. Oh, he's so good. And then the last spooky piece that I worked on was also the Witchy Stitcher, and I worked on that one in September too, and it's the Black Pearl. So I think, oh, I can't quite remember where I was. I think I had a little bit of black stitching to go, and then I decided I was going to do the text and the tentacles in this one, which I did, and I'm so happy with how this has turned out. I spent another 4 days on it, 2,900 stitches, and I finished it. So it's on a piece of 28 count opal casual linen in Feldspar by Chromatic Alchemy. Don't think they dye anymore. And the black is PR070, that black silk. And look how the orange turned out. Well, I've got the shakes, so just ignore them. Ah, so good, look at it. So I did change a few things. I didn't put any of the birds in. What else did I do? I think there was a skull. Oh, that's right. There was a skull in here, which I had stitched, but it just looked weird, so I took that out. And then the way it's charted as a monochromatic piece. So all the tentacles that are overlaying the ship in the chart are just not stitched. So I just decided to stitch them in the orange, and I think it's great. Let's see if I can get a thumbnail for my video. Oh, I love it, love it. Fit the fabric perfectly, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with that fabric, and yeah, I just found a great piece. Okay. Now, I was going to have one more new start, and I haven't quite got there yet, but Lola Cross Stitch has now released the Ghostly Ball on PDF, so you can go to her the Lola Cross Stitch website, which I did, and I downloaded the PDF, and kind of done, I've had a look at what fabrics I've got, and I'm pretty sure, so I finished this one earlier this year, City Cat or Cat Silhouette, never quite sure what the name is, by Mia X Stitch on Etsy, and I've got enough fabric to, if I just fold it in half, I think the Ghostly Ball will fit on there. and I did a floss toss, and I think it's going to work really nicely. So that's the plan. I'm not sure when I'm going to start it, probably in November, but we'll see. Just, I don't know. But yeah, so there'll be one more piece added. But I just didn't quite get there. All right, I have had a new start since I last filmed. Many of you will have heard about Unconventional X-Stitch and the devastating house fire that they had, which is just horrendous, and they pretty much lost everything. You can still buy PDFs from them. So I went and had a look and found something from my wish list. I've had my eye on this one for a while, and I actually found another one too. So if I just go back in time for a second, this is a little bit shameful because it's still not washed, ironed, definitely not framed. But I finished this piece, which is called Gala, and the artwork is by Nicole Payne, and it's an unconventional cross stitch pattern. I finished this earlier this year, and it's just stunning. It's an 18 count aida using 2 strands of thread, and I actually bought this as a kit from Unconventional X-Stitch, but at the moment you can't buy any physical products, but you can buy this as a PDF. So I had my eye on the same artist, Nicole Payne, has got a few different bird patterns, and I really liked the Rosella. I'll pop a photo in. And the intention would be to stitch it on 18 count aida again, so it's similar size, and omit the background, so just stitch the bird. I've put it into Pattern Keeper, and it's very easy. The colours in the background are very different to the colours in the bird, so it's easy to just leave that out. That's not actually the piece I started. So looking at that same artist's charts on there, oh, there's so many nice ones, but I saw this one. It's called Eucalyptus Flowers, and I just fell in love and bought it and started it. It's just like, if you're Australian, you know, like the colour of those leaves, the beautiful gum blossom there, that red gum blossom, and you can even see the gum nut like popping off as the blossom emerges, and it just makes you think of that feeling when you walk under a gum tree and there's all the crackles when you're stepping on all the gum nuts, and that beautiful smell, and I just absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I've only made a very small start. I'm doing this one on 25 count, easy count, 1/1 full cross, and I put 3 days into it and only about 550 stitches. I mentioned I've been really tired in the evenings, and yeah, this is one of the ones that didn't get so much, but that's my start. So yeah, it's like blues, greys and greens, just gorgeous. Okay, now next, you can possibly see it in the corner here. I have been working on my Chatelaine. I started the Taj Mahal mandala Chatelaine. It's actually just had its 5th birthday. So I started it in October 2019. So that is shameful when you see how much I've done or haven't done. I can't really explain why I haven't progressed more than I have, but well, still going. I have no intention of giving up on it. But I have had a bit of a breakthrough, I think, this month. So I've been working on, there's 4 buildings, like upright, like down, left and right. And I've been working on the upright one for, feels like forever. I just had a few specialty stitches to go, and I hadn't done any of the beads. And I think I've worked out 2 things about myself stitching this piece. So first of all, I like to count stitches and keep records, but it's not that straightforward with this piece. So I've decided to just, doesn't matter how often I work on it, doesn't matter how many stitches I do, so I'm not keeping any records when I'm stitching. and that takes a little bit of pressure off. And the other thing, which is a big thing, is that the way the pattern is charted, the cross stitches are fair enough. It's not the easiest pattern. You really do need to be concentrating, but you know, it's a pattern, so you can follow crosses on a pattern. So that's okay. The beads are really obvious too. They're on the pattern. The specialty stitches are just there's just lines where they need to be, and then you need to go and read the pattern, and it's kind of, there's like an explanation of where in the piece the specialty stitches are and which threads you need to use, and it's not always straightforward. It's not always clear. And so I had gaps in the Taj that I had stitched because I wasn't super certain what needed to go there, or maybe I knew the stitch, couldn't work out which thread it was supposed to be. So I went and had a look on the, there's a great Facebook group called the Chatelaine support group, and I had a look at other people's pictures, and I realised people have stitched it differently, and it doesn't actually matter if it's not perfect. I can be a perfectionist in some parts of my life, and I think that this piece was being neglected and was suffering because of that. So I've just decided I'm just going to pick a stitch or pick a thread and go with it. It doesn't matter. And honestly, that's made the world of difference. So with all that being said, I'll try and show it. I don't know how see-through it will be, but I'll show you what I've done. Oh, it's okay. So when I showed it last time, I don't know if I've got a photo. It only goes up a little bit up there, so I'm not going to unwind it. But I had done like most of this. But like I said, I still had gaps. I hadn't done this. And I hadn't done that or anything in here, I don't think. I possibly did the tree. But I've come in, I'll come in close so you can hopefully see. I've actually put some beads in too. There's not too many in the actual building, mainly along here. And then there's these are called paisley ornaments. There's 4 of them, 1 in each corner. So this one is complete. I've finished the stitches, the specialty stitches, and there are some beads in there and some Reggie hair. Anyway, then there's some, there's this border here that is crosses. There's metallic threads in there, and there's some beads. And that little corner is all finished. And so when I come back to it, I'll come back here. I need to stitch the tree here because there are some beads. Here, where I'd rather get some of the stitches done. So I have done some beads. I can't see in here. So I want to stitch this equivalent tree over here before I put anything in, but also I'll stitch this corner. Then it does come out possibly to about here. There's another border. So when I've done this bit here, I'm going to roll the fabric down so I can see up, at the top, and I'm just going to stitch that top border and then just slowly move my way down. And I've got some, I couldn't find felt big enough, but I've got some like fleecy fabric that I can sort of put in to cushion the beads that I've already done so I don't squish them when I'm winding this up on the scroll bar. But I'm so happy, finally. I feel like I've gotten somewhere, and I'm really looking forward to picking it up again, hopefully soon. Yes. This bit here, you can see I've done most of the center square, except for the beads. Yeah, so I'll get back to that at some point. All right, what else have I done? Moonglow. I've worked on Moonglow by Nora Corbett. This one. Not sure if I've got a before photo, but it doesn't really matter. I've finished all of the cross stitching on this now, and I've finished the back stitch too. It could do with an iron. But anyway. So this is on 32 count Belfast linen in antique teal by XG Designs. And I had to come in and do all of this light stitching in the sky. This is quite a bit there. I think there's 2 different colours, you probably can't tell. But now there's a whole heap of beads, so I actually would like to hopefully finish this in November, but we'll see. But at the moment, there it is. Okay. Last one. Just had an urge to work on an older full coverage piece I hadn't worked on in a while. So I pulled out Atomic Garden 149 by Teresa Rose, and it's a Gecko Rouge piece. It's this one. Kind of feel like what's going on in the reflection of her glasses represents my life at the moment. I'm not going to go into details, I'm fine, it's just a bit crazy. So I thought this was apt. And also it turns out I'm in this lens. This is hugely confetti, so just to make it even harder. I started this back in 2020 and I had barely done any. I'll hopefully find a before picture, but this is definitely the first time I've worked on it this year. Again, I'm doing 25 count 1/1 full cross, and that's where it's up to. Still doesn't look like much. I'm trying to, I think the first, let me just remind myself. I think the first page is kind of like here-ish. And so I'm kind of trying to finish that just so I can see something. And there's also a lot of this colour, a lot more than any other colour. So I'm trying to do like quite a bit of that and then alternate with confetti. I'll show you, I don't care what the back looks like. I'm usually fairly careful, but just the way this one is, there's stitches all over the place and I'm just carrying and I don't care. I'm not carrying over the white, the really light stitches, but yeah. Once it's all stitched, you won't tell. You won't be able to tell. It's fine. Some of you might be horrified at that, but it's absolutely fine. So that is all the stitching I've done in October. I've just spent, I write it down, 2 days and 600 stitches on that. So yeah, 2 evenings of 300 stitches. So yes, that's everything I've worked on in October. Now we're in November. Wow. My plans are to get my 2 last pages of Book of Shadows done and get that all ready to FFO next month. Maybe finish Moonglow, do all the beading on Moonglow. Possibly start Ghostly Ball. I know I probably say this every month, but I really should bring Firefly out. So that might happen. At the end of November, I will come back with my last monthly update for the year, which is crazy. And then I think it's like the weekend after that, I'm going to try and get my end of year whip parade done. So I can't believe that's coming around so soon. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, happy stitching. See ya.